Hi everyone, I'm Missy. I wanted to give you all an update. I weighed in last weekend and I gained 4 pounds. Yeah, it was a little shocking to see, but I have a feeling what's going on. I had, in celebration of a couple birthdays, um, went out to eat, had some chips and salsa, lots of salt. and um, and I think that in combination of not sleeping well, I've not been sleeping too well recently. My knees have been hurting me a lot, and I have been using weights every day. Could be muscle inflammation. I've heard that can happen. That if you're working out with weights, that it is just maybe muscle. I don't know. Honestly, I'm not going to try and guess and figure it out. I have gained some weight before in the past with GLP-1 and it goes down again. So I'm not going to fret too much about it. Yeah, 4 pounds was a little shocking. I was thinking 2, 3, but the lowest I got down so far was 273, but I went to 277. So I'm like bouncing around that area right now. So GLP-1 is crazy. And our bodies are not machines. We, and I've seen this. I'm sure maybe you have too. When you lose, then you bounce, lose, and bounce. That's been my trend. So I'm not going to take too much consideration into it and stress out about it. It's definitely not worth the stress. So just relax. If you gain, it's part of the process. Your body's not a machine. It's got to adjust. Also, when you think about it, your body is adjusting to a lower caloric intake of food. Your body's resisting it every single day of the journey because it's saying, hold on to the weight. Hold on to that weight. That's why I struggled so much breaking that 300-pound mark back in December. So think about it that way. Your body is fighting against you. It has a set point of this much because you started at this weight. It's struggling to get down every step of the way because your metabolism, all of that working together is saying, it's resisting so much. So when you lose weight, be very happy about it, of course, but don't be surprised to gain some weight too. Okay, it's really part of the process. 4 pounds, not a big deal. So I remember when I was even in Weight Watchers, I would work my butt off and I would actually gain 7 pounds the next week. I'm not kidding you. I followed the program well. I'll never forget some of those weeks I did. Your weight's going to fluctuate. It could be hormones. It could be stress. That's my dog snoring. Sorry about that sound. He's right down below me here. It could be just muscle fatigue. It could be your sleep habits. It could be whatever you've eaten recently too. So I wanted to share that with you all. That don't be afraid of weight gain. It's just how it is. So c'est la vie, right? Okay. This is a marathon, not a sprint. Remember, you took a long time to get this weight on. Remember, young lady, it's going to take a while to come off too. So, all right, keep it into perspective. In this video, I wanted to also share that, I've had a lap band for 16 years in my life. I had it removed about 3 years ago. I was having some trouble with it, and I just wanted to share some of this with you. I don't know if some of you have had weight loss surgery before. 16 years of hoping it would work. I had my lap band installed when I was 355 pounds, and I lingered between 335 and 340, 40-ish, right in that range for the remaining of the 16 years. I think at one point I got down to 320, if I'm recalling that correctly. I never got under 300. I never got close to 300 having the lap band. I'll be quite honest with you. I don't think I knew how to use the lap band very well, even though I went to the doctor about it. I talked to him about it before I had the surgery and all that was involved. I just thought it was a magic pill, a magic tool in my body that I would instantly lose weight and this would be permanent. This is it. This is all it's going to be. No, I paid for it all out of pocket. I remember it cost $25,000. $25,000. Isn't that something? We spend a lot of money to lose this weight. But it was very important to me to get that surgery because I really thought that was the answer. So here I am now, 58 years old, and I'm on GLP-1 medication, Zepbound, and I'm finally seeing results with weight. I started at 330 last year, August 28th, 2025, and I'm lingering around 275 right now. So 277. So I'm at right around 55 pounds down. This is why some weight loss tools work for some and not for others, about why it's okay to try when something doesn't work, and why you are not broken if you haven't found your tool yet. I walked into surgery at 355 pounds, putting all my hope into that lap band, and I thought, wow, this is it. This is going to be my answer, my forever solution, right? And 16 years of the adjustments, so you had to go in for adjustments to make the band tighter or loosen it up. So I was doing everything I was supposed to do. I was, and honestly, the worst part wasn't even the number on the scale. It was the feeling. It was the feeling that I failed. I really failed, that I had done something wrong, that if I'd only tried harder, been more disciplined, even better, the surgery would have worked. But I remember one moment in particular. I had the lap band for 12 years at that point, I remember, and someone asked me casually, oh, how long have you had the lap band? And I said 12 years. And I remember the look on that person's face, that moment of surprise, that unspoken question, 12 years and you're still fat, you're still overweight. I could just read it on their face. That was a gut punch for me because I knew what they were thinking and I was thinking it too. If the surgery worked, why hasn't it worked for you? That's what I was thinking. And I carried that weight, not just the physical weight, but the emotional weight of feeling like I was the problem. For years, I believed that. I thought my body was broken. I really thought I was the failure. But 3 years ago, I made the decision to have the lap band removed, and I'm so glad I did. It wasn't working, and after 16 years, I needed to accept that it wasn't going to work. And removing it felt like giving up in some ways, like I admitted defeat. But it felt like a freedom, too, to be quite honest. I didn't have a foreign object in my body anymore, and that wasn't doing its job. I didn't have to keep trying to make something work that clearly wasn't working for me. So, but I'll be honest, after the removal, I felt like I was back to square one. 16 years, surgery, all that hope, all that effort, and I was right back where I started, wondering what came next. What came next? And for a while, I didn't know if there was anything that would work for me. And a few years back, that's when GLP-1s really started to get some headlines. And my ears perked up. They did, indeed. But I was really scared back then because I don't think they had a lot of data a few years back. And I just didn't feel it was safe. So anyway, I did learn about the GLP-1s. I started GLP-1 Zepbound in August 28th, on August 28th last year. And for the first time in years, decades, I started seeing results, real results. And I'm 7 months in, almost 8 months, and I'm down around 55 pounds. I want to be really clear about something. Having the GLP-1 is such a godsend to me, just because mostly for the food chatter is just greatly reduced. I just absolutely love it for that. I'll just take it just for the food chatter being gone. I have a reduced appetite. I never had that with a lap band. I always had a big appetite. Like I said, I was a volumes girl. I still am. I'm a sweets girl, salty and sweet. I don't get those urges nowadays than when I did when I was on when I had my lap band. I always had those hunger cravings. I did. I was white knuckling it so many times, working through, I really want something sweet. Give me a Hostess cupcake or something. In 16 years with the lap band, I only went down a little bit of weight, never got out of the 300s. And 7 months on GLP-1, here I'm now from 330 to 277, 275, right in that 275, 277. Wow, I'm so thrilled. I really am thrilled. And after 16 years of barely seeing the scale move, I'm finally seeing the progress. That tells me something really important, that my body wasn't broken after all, that I thought it was. That lap band tool was just not for me. And finding something that works now at age 58, after all the years of frustration, wow, that just floors me. And it's never too late. Your body isn't broken for you either. If you've had any type of bariatric surgery in the past and that tool didn't work for you, please know your body isn't broken. You just need to find the right tool that matches your biology. And that's what I love about the GLP-1. It really works the brain. It just switches your brain. Huge. It's huge. I think the biggest difference between the lap band and the GLP-1 for me is that GLP-1 addresses more than just physical restriction. The lap band made my stomach smaller. It created physical discomfort. It really did over the years. Not so much fullness. It was not fullness. It actually went down. The food just lingered and slowly dropped down. It was such an uncomfortable feeling in the esophagus there, right at the top of the stomach. There were many times where I vomited it back up. It was not pleasant, and you were not supposed to vomit having a lap band because you could risk it slipping. So I was very careful. If I really had to, I just did it kind of gently, you know. Ugh. Thinking back to that was not pleasant. There were many, many times that happened. That's why I'm just so glad that lap band's out of my body for good. For good. And it's not that I'm trying harder now. It's not that I'm more disciplined or more motivated. It's that I finally found a tool that works with my body instead of against it. Really, that's the essence. And if anyone wants to say GLP-1 is the easy way out, let me tell you, I did the hard way. I had major surgery. I lived with a foreign object in my body for 16 years. I mean, I did everything I was supposed to do. I thought I did, and it didn't work. GLP-1 isn't a shortcut. It's not cheating. It's not the easy way out. It's the tool that works on your brain and finally matched my biology at age 58. And I refuse to feel guilty about that. If you've tried other things and they didn't work, that doesn't mean you failed. That doesn't mean you're weak or lazy or undisciplined. It just means you haven't found the right tool yet. And that's okay. Keep looking, keep trying, because the right tool is out there. One of the most freeing things about being on GLP-1 instead of having the lap band is that I don't have that foreign object in my body anymore. For 16 years, I carried that thing around and it didn't deliver. And I'm now succeeding without it. I'm healthy without it. I'm losing weight without it. And that feels powerful. If you're watching this and you've ever felt like a failure because of a diet, any program, or any weight loss tool, or even a surgery that didn't work for you, I want you to hear me clearly. It wasn't you, it was the tool. You haven't found your tool yet. If you haven't tried a GLP-1, talk to your doctor. Ask him or her about it. See if it's right for you. Must have that doctor discussion first and foremost. Very important. Are you navigating a GLP-1 right now after a previous surgery? Have you tried multiple approaches before finding what works? I know I have. Been through a lot of programs in my life, starting at age 9 with tops. Take off pounds sensibly. I'll never forget that. And I was just a kid. I'd love to hear from you in the comments below. We're in this together. I'll see you next time.